Well, greetings everyone, and welcome once again to another Wednesday night right here at the Sports Crib. And we, as usual, will start with the uh, commercial stuff here. So if you see on the bottom there, this is the Sports Crib, home of the Sports Crib Network. You can go on YouTube and subscribe and donate to our Cash App, JE King 3. And guys, if you're wondering what's going on tonight, this is my ode to Deion Sanders, okay? And the great press conference that we will be talking about a little bit later on. I see Bo is here and Demetrius is here, so let's get this party started.
How's it going, guys?
Everything tonight.
Hey, gentlemen, how we doing?
Good.
Oh, hey, anytime you can have a little time to drop by, Demetrius, it's always a good time. Bo, you also. Maybe some of the other guys will jump in tonight. I know Don is probably doing some high school things. Bill, no telling, but probably on a fantasy football cast somewhere.
Right. It's the middle of fantasy football season. Bill's gonna be tough.
Yes, and Dave, of course, it should be somewhere in Norway about now, I guess. So we're around there. So at least we know where most of our panel is. Reggie is, of course, in Atlanta. We'll see him again next week. But guys, we just had a close to a great Olympics for the U.S. and we've talked about Simone Biles and the women's basketball team, the men's basketball team, of course, and of course, where we were expecting the women to roll. They had a very tight game, winning 67-66, and somewhere this guy named Steph Curry showed up and just showed out. I don't know. Well, anyway, so let's talk a little bit about this guy, Steph Curry here, Bo. He dropped 32 in the game against Serbia. And the 4 threes that he dropped against France just put the game away. Now, I know that, that there's not an MVP, as far as the U.S. basketball team is concerned. But if we had one, would you have to give it to Steph?
So it's funny because LeBron was more valuable the entire time. So if you're doing it as an MVP of the totality, LeBron gets it, right? But if you're talking about the last 2 games where it really came together, it really mattered, I mean, Steph showed out. But Steph didn't early on. So, I mean, you could make a case either way, and I wouldn't be mad at it either way. Like, if Curry got it, you'd be like, yeah, okay. Like, he came up when it needed to happen. And giving it to LeBron, you're like, yeah, he was solid the entire time. So, realistically, out of the two, I don't know that you could have gave it to the wrong guy.
What do you say there, Demetrius?
He's right. Bo's right. If you had a trophy for who was the best player beginning to end of tournament, it's LeBron. But if you ask LeBron James, who's the reason we have a gold medal, he would tell you it's exactly. Right? That's it's just there is a remarkable ability that special athletes have to, at a time when regular dudes like us, I don't want to say we would crumble, but there is a moment in the game or in the event where it's crunch time. It's whatever you want to call it. The special ones somehow get better. They don't just rise to the occasion. They just walk past the occasion like it was holding the door for him. And what he did in those games, like I said, Bo's absolutely right. The best player throughout the tournament, that trophy goes to LeBron James. The reason the U.S. team has the gold medal, that trophy goes to Steph Curry.
Now they well, yeah, I guess we can't make a controversy out of it, but also we have to remember that this is probably Steph's last uh, Olympics, and probably LeBron's also. So the guy that we're going to talk about probably has at least 2 or 3 more left in him, and I'm talking about Jason Tatum. Now he didn't even get off the pine when he came to playing Serbia, and he did play, of course, in the finals. But there seems to be a controversy wanting to be made about the way the Golden State knocked Boston out of the 2022 playoffs, and everyone wants to kind of like make this kind of standoff, I guess, between Tatum and Coach Kerr. I'm not going to put on black socks here, but and it's only because I'm not a Celtics fan. So,
I figured it's because we're only 6 minutes into the show.
So I'm going to go to our Black Sox titleist here and see what his opinion is.
Yeah, Black Sox will show up throughout this podcast. I feel it tonight. So here's the thing: this is not your standard NBA roster where you probably have 2 or 3 superstars, 4 to 7 really good NBA players, and then guys who are at the end who are in the NBA and way better now. That's not the roster. Everybody on the roster is a superstar. There's only so many minutes in a game. So then it comes down to just this philosophy where at some point there was a meeting, a practice, or something. And the decision is we're trying to win a gold medal. And this guy called Steve Kerr is the coach. That's his job. He has scouted. He's got other guys, Ty Lue on that staff, guys who know. And they're making decisions. And again, in the middle of the action, man, you're trying to win a game. And if you look at matchups and you know some of these players and you know your roster, there's no bad choice on the roster, right? But if you look at matchups and you say, this group, this 5 to 7, I don't know, and I'll let Bo correct me if I'm wrong. Even if you have an Olympic level roster, I don't know a scenario where you're going to play all 15 dudes. Unless
it's not an all-star game.
Right, exactly.
It's not an all-star game. They don't all get minutes.
If you're on the playground trying to make every 7-year-old happy and you don't want to get yelled at by the parents and nobody's keeping score, right? And there's no gold medal on the line. Sure, Jimmy, go. You can't shoot. You can't even dribble. Get in the game. Have fun, Jimmy. That's not what this is. That's not what this was. This was about winning a gold medal. And here's the thing. I'll finish with this. Not winning the gold medal with this roster was simply not an option. So they won. And I have not heard anything out of Jason Tatum's mouth. I love Tyrese Halliburton. I don't know if we're going to touch on that or not. What he did was just awesome. But you won the gold medal. So if you're Jason Tatum and you played in the final and you contributed, the contribution might be in practice. Your contribution might have been in the work you made LeBron do in practice. That's what teams do. And so really good team players don't care. Tyrese Halliburton doesn't care. He's got his medal, and he posted a tweet that I think was awesome. He was like that dude on the group assignment who did nothing but still got an A. So this gold medal, because you did do something. This is years of work, right? My short answer is I don't know that I've heard Tatum say anything. So anybody who's upset that Tatum didn't play might not understand the roster, right? That roster, the goal, the objective, gold medal, and nothing else. And they might not understand team dynamics. So, I mean, that would be my short answer. I don't think it's a controversy at all because they won. Because they won. At the end of the day, that's what it was about.
Bottom line, they won. Go ahead, bro.
That's the thing, right? Is not an all-star game. Not everybody's going to get all the minutes. You can't. There's only so many minutes you can play. So, yeah, Demetrius is totally right. and nothing's come out of his mouth, right? It's his mom and stuff, which, I mean, at the end of the day, it's matchups. Now, it's only dumb if it doesn't work. So had they gotten a silver, this conversation's wildly different. They're like, how do you keep him on the bench? But they won. So they did exactly what they were supposed to do. And yeah, like, he made his contributions. I loved that also, the guy that didn't contribute but still got an A. But if you're a highly competitive, I see where the frustration is, because when you were telling people about that championship, you're like, yeah, well, how was your night? Oh man, it was awesome. That pint never got cold.
Exactly. It was warm.
So, yeah, I mean, so like, there's two sides to it for sure. But I mean, at the end of the day, you're there to get a gold medal, and Kerr led them to a gold. I mean, I feel like anybody probably should have been able to coach that team with the amount of stars that was on it. But I think on this story, the part that I find hilarious is the people that are like, oh, this team would have mopped up the 92 Dream Team. And it's like, man, you guys should pump the brakes on that because y'all are crazy. You almost lost to a team that didn't have a team in the last Olympics.
Like, what kind of basketball do you play? If they're playing 1992 basketball, Charles Oakley, Rick Mahorn basketball, or are they playing today's basketball, right? That's really what that is. But I think if you sit down, Steve Kerr, and say, hey, give me 5 minutes on why Jason Tatum didn't play, he could give you a logical, matchup-based X's and O's explanation that would be probably very difficult to argue against. I really do. I think it would. And it won. You have to end every one of these paragraphs with "they won." So
they won. Bo, we talked about, I don't think you were here when we talked about how Shannon and Ocho Cinco decided that they were going to put up some personal money for the track team here. If they won gold, Shannon said he would put up 25 G's.
Yep.
And if they won a world record, he'd put up 50 G's.
Yep.
So, the U.S. men's track team collected 13 gold medals, including one world record.
So I don't think it was a world record, though. I think it was an Olympic record.
No, it was an Olympic record. Well, they actually said 2 Olympic world records, but the world record was they found out that I think he had an aiding wind or something like that.
Gotcha.
But so it ended up being 2 Olympic records instead of 1 world record. But so anyway, 13 times 25 G's, that's 325 G's by itself. And we don't know if he's actually paid every relay player, that 25 G's. But this is just the simple math here.
Yeah.
So do you think that Shannon gets to write this off as a charitable deduction, Bo?
Oh, so this would go in as advertising budget. Is what this would be.
Yeah, that's
yeah, because all this is it's a masterful PR move, and since his brand is him, this is absolutely a marketing expense, and he'll get to write that off, especially because it can be up to a certain percentage of whatever your income is, and he makes a hell of a lot more than
that. Club Shay Shay.
Yeah, that's right.
I think, like both said, it's in the Club Shay Shay ad budget, and it was brilliant for the record. I think technical answer is no, they can't write it off on their taxes, but I think it's not coming out of their individual personal checking accounts. That's for sure. I think the hope though is that the U.S. Olympic Committee looks at this and it lands. It's going to land. They're the numbers that they see and the commitment that these athletes make to go and represent the country, hopefully it drives some kind of policy that says, hey, we're in a world where college kids are getting paid, right? And they don't even set foot on the field sometimes, and then they transfer to another school and get paid again, right? There's a way, right? These guys who are literally representing the country the commitment, if you know anything about the type of commitment these guys make over the course of 4 years to do that, and the importance, whether it's metaphorical or literal in terms of prestige and dollars to winning a gold medal, they're going to find a way to pay these guys. And I think that is probably second to what Bo mentioned about advertising, because it was just a master stroke of advertising. We're talking about it on the crib, and we don't talk about everything. We're selective, and we're talking about it. Master stroke in terms of advertising, and maybe you plant a seed with the U.S. Olympic Committee about, and it's not just the sprinters. You know, Flav is getting water polo players attention, right? There's a way to do this.
Anthony Edwards, table tennis.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So hopefully you understand like the forum that's out there and the breadth of attention you can bring to these athletes through stuff like this. And maybe they press other wealthy sports related people to put it in their ad budget and do the same thing. Flav's a genius. I'm sorry. Flav revitalized a career. I mean, with the water polo squad. So there are people who are really smart, or they got smart people with them, and somebody at Club Shay Shay or whatever their podcast is called, something else. Sorry, it's a thing he does with Chad. Just brilliant what they did.
Yeah,
I don't remember the name of it, but yeah, it's good. Like it's
really smart.
Hey, the picture that was seen around the world, and we talked about this because we had a rat bird that kind of took exception to the picture. But it seems now that they have stripped Jordan Chile of her bronze medal, and they've given it to the Romanian gymnast after a protest by the Romanian Gymnast Federation. So Chile falls to 5th. But the picture's still there. What's your thoughts, Demetrius?
So I think Jordan's last name is Childs, right?
Yes.
Childs. Okay. So wow. So the group that my video is targeted at is called the Court of Arbitrations for Sports, heretofore called CAS, or dumb jackasses. I haven't decided what I'm going to call it. So I'm generally about getting it right. What's the right thing to do? And that's usually not hard in sports. It's usually like, do the right thing. You know, she won, right? When they appealed. This is what it boils down to. You have a certain amount of time, and it's honestly 1 minute to appeal.
1 minute.
And this is about 4 seconds. The Romanians didn't say, oh, wait, that's not right. Oh, wait, that's incorrect. Oh, wait, she shouldn't win. The Romanians said, y'all was 4 seconds late in pointing out the mistake. That's what we're talking about here. That blows my mind. That's Bill Carroll has a thing called the greatness of pettiness and the pettiness of greatness, something like that, right? And shout out to Bill. He'll fix me one day. I think it's called the greatness of pettiness.
Right. I think it is.
What human being says, she deserves to win. Yeah, she was better. But 4 seconds? And who timed it? Where's the time? I want to know all that. I need the 35th next week that shows me who started the clock, when was the minute up. We're talking about 4 seconds, and you're taking a medal off a young woman's neck. It doesn't sit right with me. At the end of the day, I will go with this. Jordan Childs is decorated already. She's probably got more medals to come in her future. And more than anything, she knows. She knows. The sad part is the Romanian girl knows too, right? So maybe she's going to display that thing in her house. Maybe she'll walk around. She knows. And that's the worst, because Jordan Childs knows. And there's so much more, but that type of grown adults sitting in a meeting making horribly bad decisions makes my head want to explode. That's horrible. We're talking about 4 seconds. And I'm mad at the Romanian person who had the stopwatch. I need all of that. I need to know. If it would have been 4 minutes, I would have said, that's weak, but 4 minutes is okay. 4 hours, 4 days, 4 seconds. I want the person who was timing it. I want to see the stopwatch. I want all of that, because you took a lot of hard work that young lady put into that, and you took that medal off her neck, which you can't really, because the picture's out there. We all know she won. If I was her, I would blow up the picture with the medal and just write whatever at the bottom of it and paint it on the front door of my house, whatever, because greatness of pettiness, right? Like I talked about. This one's tough for me. I don't get this. I don't get how arbitrations work and how do you appeal and the timing and the scoring in that is so uber. Bo might be able to tell you more about it. It's tenths of a point. I know we're talking about 4 seconds. And
exactly.
I need to know who was the official timekeeper, what's their address and their social security number. And I need video, right? I need video of them with a stopwatch going, okay, done. Oh, you're too late. I need all that. Because this is crazy.
All of a sudden, that's not black socks. That's the grabbing the belt.
Right. Exactly. That's some next level stuff, though. That's crazy.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's a bad look. Like, no matter how you break it down, it's a bad look. Now, 4 seconds is an eternity, considering all of their measurements are in the thousandth of a second, right? So, I mean, it's a really long time. But it's dumb. Like, especially because they're pulling it away, not because it was the right thing to do, right? Like, 4 seconds is ridiculous. I understand they have a policy and whatever, but I'm like you. I want to be right? Like you want the people that win to win. And so for them to strip it, I mean, it just doesn't make sense. It's such a bad look, but I feel like we have at least one of these every Olympics.
Yeah.
Like there's always one of these just bad situations that then they double down on. They're like, hey, you know what? I made a bad move. I'm going to stand by it.
Right. And there's always some petty Romanian driving his nonsense. I have nothing against Romania as a country, but this is some Michael Jordan type petty right here. I don't get this.
I mean, I think some of it, because it does generally end up being, smaller countries as far as entries into the Olympics. So they're not worried about stealing one of the 200 medals that the U.S. Olympic team, grabs. They're worried about adding a fifth to their country. So, right, I mean, like some of it I kind of get.
Yeah. I need to put myself in the Romanian shoes. You might be right. Yeah.
All right, guys, I'm going to put on my black socks for real here.
Here we go.
Break dancing. Did you hear what I just said? Break dancing in the Olympics. Now, I didn't get the memo that dancing became a sport all of a sudden. And as far as entertainment, have you guys ever seen slap boxing? Just for pure entertainment, let's make that Olympic sports.
Yeah.
But anyway,
as hard as I can. Yeah.
I mean, I've seen better breakdancing out of somebody that has epilepsy than what happened on that
stage. Oh my God. I got to be honest.
We've just been banned. I want you to know that.
Straight kicked off the air. No, that makes sense.
I don't know what to give you here. I got nothing, man. I thought about this and I thought, what am I supposed to get on this podcast and talk about Olympic breakdancing? First of all, aren't we about 40 years too late with this, by the way? I didn't know they were doing this. Are they cutting up cardboard boxes on the streets of Australia? And, well, no, they're not, because I think that was the one girl who really shouldn't have been.
The girl,
yeah. I mean, but if I'm her, and nobody else is taking the spot, and I get a free trip to Paris, yeah, why not? I
can't hate on that.
right. If you again, I had to put myself in the Romanian shoes. I'm going to do the same thing. I don't just need the
Running Man and
I'll do it. I don't know. See, my guess though is, and I'm going to put on 2 pairs of socks real quick. So my guess, because I liken this to all of the things I have railed about Major League Baseball over the past 3 years. This is the same thing. This is an attempt to appeal to people who don't really love your sport, right? This is the Olympics saying we need to draw young eyeballs. So let's find something cool and hip, make it an Olympics, and just lose the word sport, call it a competition, and half of my issue is gone, right? 80% of my issue is you're calling it a sport, right? But this is some under 30 person in a meeting with the TV networks, right? Probably works for the network, saying what, like 5-7 years ago, what are some cool things we can do to get kids, both black sock metaphorical kids and legitimate people under 30 to watch the Olympics? We're going to watch because we remember when it mattered. We remember the pride, track and field, gymnastics, boxing. I used to watch every Olympic boxing match, right? Where were the Olympic boxing matches? I don't know, but it used to be a thing. Winning a gold medal in the Olympics, when Ray Leonard won, when the track and field, Carl Lewis is one of the most famous people in America for running 3 events, 100, 200, 4x1. He was, right, it's not the same. Why? Because, I don't know, there's an esports match on. I don't know. They don't care. But they're trying to get those people to care about the Olympics. And it struck me at some point, it's similar to Major League Baseball, trying to get short attention span. I need my game to be under 3 hour people to watch the game. They just don't like the game. To hell with them. I will watch 200 baseball games every summer. You need to cater to me. That's what you need to do. But I think that's what it is. And it's sad because, well, I don't know. I guess if you're the break dancer in the Olympic Village with your teammates and that power lifter is sitting over there and this cat's been training for 20 years to lift 600 pounds and he looks, oh, what sport you doing? Yeah.
Could you imagine that flex if you won though? You'd be like, yeah, you've been doing that for 40 years. Gold, bro.
I got a gold medal for breakdance. I still got the same gold medal. Right. I don't know. I don't get it. It's funny mostly, but I think it is representative of what TV does to athletic events.
She was so bad though. It's gone as fast as it came out.
Yeah, somebody figure that out. I mean, it's you only need one smart person in that room, and thank God. Right.
At least it wasn't the one that took a medal away for 4 seconds.
I just checked it. 4-second medal lady is still going to be around next time. So.
Yeah, you didn't land quite right. You didn't.
No. And that's what this was. This was about, I think, a 10th or 100th of a point for what they call a split leap, right? Is what it's called. It's actually got a much more complicated name that your boy ain't even trying to say. But I'm pretty sure the normal term is a split leap. Proper. She lost a 7 point. Yeah.
All right, guys. Little college football here. AP polls included the same rankings until you got to 12th, where Utah takes the spot over in that poll, and LSU has that spot in the coaches poll. Dogs, Buckeyes, Ducks, Longhorns tied, all round out the top 5. Bo, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much right. I could see Alabama actually being a couple spots lower than that. But, I mean, outside of that, like I actually don't hate where the top of the poll is. I mean, the preseason poll is never right. Anyway.
It's meaningless.
Yeah.
But like I talked about last week, though, what you got? SEC and Big Ten. I think it's going to be hard to break that stranglehold for the next few years. But greetings there, Mr. Scott. How are you doing this evening?
Very good, gentlemen. Good to see you. Very good to see you. Haven't seen Bo in a while. He's been ducking for a while, but it's good to see him. Good to see you, Bobak.
Uh,
Yeah.
I was at Seahawks practices, so
This is
Doing research.
yeah, this is just small work for Mr. Scott. He took on 4 before, so I guess he's here. We're gonna have a lot of White Sox here now. We've taken off on the Black Sox.
2 people would be nothing for him. This is like this is a mid-afternoon bowl of trail mix or cashews or something. This ain't even a big meal for Mr. Scott. He done took on 5 at 1. He don't care. He bringing all the smoke.
So, Mr. Scott, what's your thought about the current preseason football poll? They're both pretty much alike, like I said, except for the number 12 spot.
Did I see this? Are you talking about quarterbacks or?
No, we're just talking about the
College
the
rank.
5 top teams in general. Might not be in the same order for you, but Georgia, I believe, was number 1. Then you got Texas, the Buckeyes. Who else did I say?
Oregon and Alabama.
Oregon and
I was going to say Alabama. I would think should be close to the top. I mean, they're always there. A lot of talent in that state. Boy, I haven't had a chance to do a whole lot of the college stuff yet. I've been so preoccupied with the pros and the latest things happening with the Vikings. It's really, I have a friend that I always get into it with him when we're at odds, because I always tell him something always happens.
Well,
something always happens.
Got to remember, this is going to be the first year that we're expanding the 12 teams too. I got a question for you guys about that. But what's your thoughts here, Demetrius?
I think Bo nailed it. It's meaningless in August. Who cares, right? They got to play the games, and that's the beauty. And what's the usual suspects are right. Georgia's good. Georgia will be there. I mean, so my biggest problem starts at 8. That team that I won't name, I don't think has any business. I don't care what they did last year. I don't think they got any business being number 8. And by midseason, they'll be out of the top 25 and that's not my hate. That is, they lost a lot of really good football players, and they're psychopaths.
Not only your hate.
It's not 100% my hate. There's a hate, but they lost their quarterback. They lost a lot of really good players from that team. And I don't think they're the same as Alabama and Georgia, where they just reload. And that psychotic coach of theirs is left as well. And we just don't know enough about the dude running the program, except that he cheats. And we don't know a lot about the 13 or 14 new starters. That's a big deal. We assume their backups are going to step up and be good. I don't know this is a fair assumption. And especially when one goes to the quarterback. I don't know this is a fair assumption.
That's why I'm not mad that my Huskies aren't even in the top 25. They shouldn't be, right? Yeah. New coach. They only had 2 returning starters. Everybody else either left, transferred, or went to the league. They shouldn't be. But it's funny because I see other UW fans that are like, oh, they should be in there. I'm like, what are you smoking? Like, their whole team.
The same thing I am. I can guarantee that.
Yeah. And the beauty of it now, though, is that it all gets decided on the field. You can play your way to this thing, and you can, and so it's as fair as it's ever been. And if you're good enough, you can actually have a loss. There's a couple schools that might can get in with 2 losses, but you can get into this dance now. Now it's fair enough. Go win your games, man. And there's no more of this scoring and Condoleezza Rice and a bunch of people in a room. All that, all that crap gone. They decided on the field. And if you win the games, you'll win the championship. So,
yeah, that's my favorite thing about them finally creating a real playoff. Is you had a Power 5 with 4 spots, right? So you end up with like last year, where you have an undefeated team that's the odd man out. Now, if you're the 13th team, well, I don't care if you're mad. Go win more games, right? Because the 13th team
had a chance. You're 13, you lost the game in the loss.
At least 2. You lost at least 2 to be that far down, probably 3. So if you wanted your chance in the ring, win more games.
If you got 2 losses, you can't complain. You can't complain not being in there with 2 losses. I'm not hearing it. Sorry.
Exactly.
Mr. Scott, in case you didn't notice, my ode tonight is to Coach Prime. And that great press conference that he gave the other day. And I thought, maybe it should have been done earlier. But, it was, I don't think it was done maliciously. I think it was, kind of a tongue-in-cheek type of thing. It's like, don't you guys have something more original that you can ask? Why are you still asking me the same old questions? Demetrius, I know you probably tuned into that. What was
I did too. I mean,
oh, did you? Okay, Mr. Scott.
Deion is one of the preeminent athletes of this generation, and I mean, absolutely. I think that people forget that. He's gone to, Colorado, and he's doing his thing there. He had been at Jackson State, revived that program. It's still, to me, kind of unknown what type of real coach he is as far as leading a program, running a program, recruiting, dealing with his conference, but the fact is, he is one of the preeminent athletes of our generation. And I think that's kind of came out in some of that questioning. I mean, you're going to question me about, is he above reproach? Well, I can't say that, but as we get into our whole political game and people doing all these kind of things, I mean, he knows who he is. He knows who he is, and he's only going to answer certain questions. He's not going to be put in a box like James King tries to put me in a box. I'm unboxable. I'm unboxable just like Deion. I'm unboxable too.
Unboxable. I got it. Okay.
You can put that down instead of his name next right in there. Unboxable.
I'm not sure right now whether he's talking about his ring skills, which he's always challenging me about. But anyway, Bo, what was your take on that press conference?
I mean, Deion's hilarious. If I remember right, it's the same press conference that he said he's not going to take any questions from a CBS affiliate. So, I mean, he just says some wild stuff. This guy's like, oh, yeah, I'm from CBS Denver. And he's like, yeah, cool, no. And and that was because they ranked him low. Right? Like, it's not like they did him dirty. They listed him as the 61st coach in their rankings, which, just like the AP poll, doesn't mean anything. And he took offense to it and was like, yeah, I don't mess with CBS.
Right. But that's who he's always been. And there's no day I've woken up and said, I want to agree with Mr. Scott tonight. That just doesn't happen. But he's absolutely right. Right. There's a piece of this. Deion does things his own way. I think he is recruiting differently based on his celebrity, and he has always been inspirational. Deion could inspire anybody. That's who that dude is. He was born that way. And I think what he's doing is he is having a level of success. And 2 years from now, he's going to tell everybody to eat crow. But that greatness of pettiness thing is Deion. Ask Tim McCarver. Deion will hold on to it for years and never forget what you said about him, and he will bring it back. And I think that he's getting better X's and O's wise. I think he's going to recruit better because he's going to have more research, but he's never going to do it the way they want him to do it. He's never going to do it the way anybody else has ever done it. And so people are always going to challenge that new way, that guy who deviates from the script. And Deion has never seen the script he was sticking to. I'm not sure what they want. Deion's going to do it his way. I personally believe it's going to work because I think you can supplement your X's and O's with assistant coaches. I think if you can recruit and you can get kids to come, he knows how to get athletes to bring out the best in athletes. That's what I think he's ultimately going to excel at. If he keeps a good recruiting coordinator, X's and O's coordinators, he's going to turn that thing around. And I don't think it's going to be 5 or 6 years. I think it's going to be 2 years from now when he's got 98 kids that he recruited, right? He's not in somebody else's bums. When he's got 90 kids on that campus that he recruited, and they're playing football the way he wants it played, they're going to be really good, and they're going to upset some people. And there's a Mr. Scott said, there's a political piece to this where Deion's upsetting the apple cart, y'all. Deion is doing stuff they don't like doing, and he doesn't care because he's Deion. He doesn't have to. He doesn't have to care. They can't.
But there's that harbinger of, can a great athlete be a great coach? You know what I mean? There's that thing. It's almost like he's being challenged to see, okay, we know that you're a preeminent athlete, speed, football, baseball, World Series, Super Bowls. I mean, you can't do any more than that. But, to be challenged, can you do this as a coach? Is this thing going to transfer? And that's always been the harbinger of great athletes that have moved into the coaching ranks, going back to Ted Williams, and who are the greatest of the great. Can they coach? I mean, and that's the thing. I think.
And this is it's recruiting. When he walked into the living room and got Travis Hunter to commit to Jackson State, I said to somebody, "Oh shit!" Literally, I looked on my phone and I said, "Oh shit, he's doing something." And Deion sits on the couch with your mom, and you're the best player in the nation, possibly, and you commit to Jackson State. Now he's at Colorado. He's got real money behind him, right? And if he stays there and builds this thing, he's gonna recruit. And if he recruits, they're gonna win because he is not accepting anything but your best effort. And if they get really good players there, he will win football games. But it's really more about the how. Deion's going to do it prime style, and that just bothers some people. There are people who want you to conform and do it the way it's supposed to be done, the way it's always. And he's like, no. And he's petty as hell. He may never do an interview with CBS. He might never talk to CBS. That's how he gets down. So
yeah. Well, guys, you guys had all said that the polls were a little too early, and I do agree with you. But this year the playoffs extend to 12 guys, 12 teams. I'm sorry. So, Bo, I'm pretty sure I already know what Demetrius is going to say, but Bo, who do you think is going to be that 13th team out?
The 13th team, just for I'm actually going to go. I'm going to kind of go that same way just for entertainment value. Like if it was Michigan, would be hilarious because people would lose their minds.
So good.
Only because I have a bunch of Michigan fans that are, friends. I think it would be hilarious. I would buy tickets to that meltdown.
I actually don't think it's going to be them. They're going to be way down. They're going to be 19 or 20. So I'm not even giving them that. Yeah. I think, like I said, it's only partially my hatred. But I think that there's two schools of thought. So there's teams up around 5, 6, 8 that are going to drop down a little bit. They're not quite what we thought. Penn State, for example, feels like a perpetual underachiever. Maybe an Ole Miss because they're in a tough conference, right? So one of those teams at 6 or 7 might drop. Or there's somebody back a little further that might be better than we think. And my candidate is Miami. I think they're 18, 19, 20-ish now. I could see Miami getting right there at the door. And actually, if they overachieve a little, kick the door down and be in the whole thing. Arizona, USC, those kinds of teams that are low 20s could overachieve and get up right on the cusp. Or a Ole Miss or Penn State could slightly underachieve and drop out. I think Michigan's going to lose 4 games and not even be in the conversation.
Okay.
So, on like a side note, what would be hilarious, only because I'm in the land of Pac-12 over here, right? Pac-2.
Pac-2.
You could have a non-bowl eligible Pac-12 champion.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. We got to figure that out. That's too funny. But I just need Michigan to play in the Chick-fil-A or the R&L Carriers, some weird bowl. I need them to play in the Pit Bull Bowl or whatever. I don't know.
The Pop-Tarts. The dancing Pop-Tart.
That's it. Pop-Tart bowl or gum on the bottom of my shoe bowl down in New Orleans.
Exactly.
What do you think? What do you think, Mr. Scott? Who's going to be the first team out in this 12-team playoff year?
Why do they keep doing all these kind of things? This is the part that gets me. This has got me watching some of the exhibition football just to see the kickoffs. What are they doing on the kickoff? When I played football in high school, I was the kickoff captain. I got everybody in position, what have you. I don't know what they're doing. What?
Right.
Let's get championships. Let's get conferences, and it's almost like they just have to continue to change everything that's working, and that it loses me. Just like I say that I watched the exhibition to see the kickoffs, and what are they doing? Where do you kick the ball? What happens? I don't. So all these changes, I'm trying to adjust to it.
The playoffs are a good change, in my opinion. We talked a little bit earlier about when we're done, the teams that are there, we will feel. I don't think there's going to be a Florida State that can have a legitimate argument that they should have been in. Too many teams are going to get in, and when we're done, the champ will say, "I beat 3 good teams. I deserve this championship," which is what I hated more than anything. That thing with the kickoff you're talking about. Look, I got a lot of black socks. I got a drawer dedicated to old man black socks. Ain't nothing in it for blacks. I could put on a bunch of them and talk about this kickoff. Now, realistically, I'm going to get used to it and we'll be fine. And me and Mr. Scott will joke about this in 3 months. Right now, I'm just sitting there like, somebody find me a Pabst Blue Ribbon or a Schlitz because I feel real.
You went way back there, boy. Jesus. Bo, I know your time is kind of limited here, so I want to get your take for Seahawks training camp. What's going on with Geno? And let's see, who else? You guys moved Kobe Bryant from cornerback to safety. And it seems like your third pick is shining in the preseason opener, but it was the preseason. Bo, what's going on with the Seahawks?
Yeah, so there's a lot of things to be encouraged about, right? Because coming into this year, a lot of new pieces on defense, new coaching, so a lot of question marks, right? Then all of a sudden you're seeing fights in practice and, all of that. And when it's scuffles, I don't mind that, right? That just shows passion. And you got 45 guys trying for the last 10 roster spots. So, tensions will be high. So I don't mind that. I don't love watching players swinging helmets, especially when it's DK because he has a hard enough time not getting penalties all year. But, that's just a personal thing for me. But one narrative that has been really funny is Sam Howell. He comes over from Washington. People are like, oh, he's going to take Geno's job. So watching them in practice, there is a 0% chance that is happening unless Geno gets hurt. The drop-off skill-wise between Geno to Sam Howell is sizable. In practice, you're watching him sail balls. There's no defense. This is the route tree, man. I can complete these passes. So, there's some growth that has to happen for him to really get a starting job again. Our third pick did show out. He's looked good in practice as well. So, that is a position they really needed. So good to see that come in. But, I say all of that to say they probably end up with the same record they had last year, right? They are a better team. They'll have a better defense. They have a much harder schedule this year. And so they'll probably be a 9-win team. And based on the way that the NFC is, that might get you in because you have teams that are going to beat up on each other like the NFC North, right? Every team in there is going to, the Vikings a little bit less after today, but
that's to be seen.
Addison leaving on a cart this morning, wasn't good. But JJ going down didn't matter because Darnold was your starter regardless. But because there's some divisions that are going to kind of cannibalize each other, a 9-win team probably gets in. So then it'll come down to whatever tiebreakers.
Yeah. I'm very interested this year. AFC North against NFC East. Some good matchups there.
Good games, yeah.
We'll see how that works out. Getting back to our questions here, just wanted to make sure we got that recap from Bo before he had to leave up out of here. But having never reported to a training camp, outside linebacker Hassan Reddick has requested a trade from the airplanes. Reddick wants to get his bag, but the airplanes are linebacker rich. Management says ain't nothing happening here, dude. So
can I jump in on that one first?
Yeah, Bo. So who's playing truth or dare here?
So this is the Jets doing Jets things because they traded for a guy that said he wasn't going to play for the Eagles without a new contract. You mean to tell me you're going to go to a team that isn't as good as the one he left and is somehow miraculously going to want to play for the money that he already wasn't going to play for? They were in the Super Bowl 2 years ago. They were 11-1 to start the year before they fell apart. Like, he came from a good team. He is he's a sack artist. I mean, they were using him in a unique way last year. He still got 10. The year before he had 16. Part of his trade was like, hey, I want to get paid. If I'm not getting paid here, trade me. The Jets are like, hey, we'll trade for you. What do you mean you want more money? Yeah, that's a front office problem. The expectation was set before he got in the building.
Demetrius?
Everything he said? Yeah. Here's the thing, right? This is called the business of the business. When you make that trade, you know what you do. You should have known what you were doing. Like Bo just said, if somebody in that building is surprised by this, they're really bad at their jobs. But what happens is he has never hidden the fact that he feels he plays an elite position in this league with an elite skill set. He can sack quarterbacks. And he sat back this spring and watched the former Viking, Daniil Hunter, go down to Houston. Yeah, watch Daniil Hunter go down to Houston and get 2-50 or 2-49. And he was like, wait a minute, I'll make $14 million. And Daniil just got close to 25 per. Now, if you're a human being, no, forget that. You're an elite football player at a critical position, and you see that, and this is easy. The Jets know that man wants $25 million a year, and he has not lied to you. He has not misled you. Nobody should be shocked that Hassan Reddick's not in camp. Nobody should be shocked that he wants to be traded, because what he sees is an organization that knew in March, I want the bag of money. I want a Daniil Hunter bag of money. Guess what? He deserves a Daniil Hunter bag of money. Anybody with football knowledge will say, oh my God, he can't come and play for you at $14 million. He can't, in good conscience. And look at his wife, and look at his agent, and look at his bank account. He cannot do that in good conscience, because he should be making 24, 25, 26 million a year. He should be. He's 29, he's in the prime of his career, and he's got an elite skill set. So then what you start thinking is, this organization, I believe the term was Jets doing Jet shit. Are we up to 9? No. Jets doing Jet stuff. Sorry.
Yep. Same
then
thing.
you start to wonder, right? Do I want to play for this dude, Joe Douglas? And there's a list of dudes who asked Jamal Adams, the safety. Denzel Mims, there's dudes who wanted to get out of there dealing with Joe Douglas. So this guy's a demonstrated history of this. So everything in him, he's got an agent and advisor who's saying, look, these guys are idiots, and they don't handle this well. They don't do that. There's a way you do this. And I don't like to gratuitously cite my team. Well, yes, I do. But this offseason, the Lions re-signed Goff, St. Brown, and Sewell, 2 extensions. Their 3 best offensive players, they extended them. 2 of them before they had to. That tells other free agents, so if you go to Detroit and play, they'll pay you. If you go to Detroit and you fit in and you help them, they'll pay you. Right? This dude is going like, we didn't know you wanted money. We didn't know 100 times. What are we? It's such bad business. It really is. So just trade it. If you don't want to pay him, you shouldn't have traded for him. 1. If you still don't want to pay him, then just trade him. Because he's got value. Somebody will give you something for him. But he's also elite at a position that every team in the league needs. There ain't a team in the league who doesn't want another pass rusher. Sorry, including mine. There is not another team in the league. So, okay. If you don't want to do it, because he's lost 21 days of he's got over $2 million, and he doesn't care about any of that. Because when you sign him to that deal and he gets $50 million for 2 years, you're going to take all those fines off anyway. So
they'll point those out.
Yeah.
And for the people watching that are, way in the back, it would be like where you're working, you're like, hey, I'm never going to get a raise here. The company across the street's like, we will give you more money and a $25,000 signing bonus. And then you get there and they're like, oh, there ain't no more money here.
Yeah. Wait, why
you want to quit before you start?
Right. Exactly. You want to quit the first day. Yep. Yeah, he was in the building one day to sign his contract and take his physical. To take a physical and do his orientation, and he ain't been back.
Like I said, not one day in training camp. Mr. Scott, you got any thoughts on this?
No. the whole pay thing is it's mystifying. Like you said, you see Donnell get the bag. Yeah. This guy knows he's younger. Feels he's a better player. So where's mine? And I think that's that's kind of where we're at.
Mr. Scott, the Clowns said they're not going to play Mr. Massage until the final preseason game. What do you think about that?
I like it. I mean, for the last several years, nobody's really played, and a lot of your top players have just not played in exhibition games. They've held everybody out, and some of these practices are real because you're seeing people going down in so many of these practices every single day. I mean, they're getting lost for the season in practice. So I don't mind not playing. I mean, I think for your top people, heck, Adrian Peterson never played an exhibition game. He never played one. Kirk Cousins never played one. Never played an exhibition game. And so, and then how many games do they even play now? 2 or 3, is it?
3.
Yeah, 3.
Is it 3? Yeah.
Bo, why don't you give us your thoughts on this before we get your final thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, dude gets hurt constantly at this point in his career. So, I mean, realistically, they're only going to get to pick which 8 games he plays. They don't want to waste 8 of them, 3 of them in the preseason. So he's going to be there for half the season, and then they better hope their backups are ready to rock because he has not been effective in years at this point.
Yeah. You want to give us your final thoughts, Bo, before you get out here?
Yeah, I don't even have any today. Like it was just a wild day.
Yeah. Let's talk about breakdancing,
man.
The breakdancing really just kind of
messed you all up, didn't
it? It did. Right on, guys. I got to jump on a Zoom call. Great hanging out with you. Take it easy, guys.
All right. Have a good one. So let's talk about something that we usually talk about, but we don't usually talk about them in this manner and put them under such scrutiny. So I went to ESPN, and these were the quarterback ratings that I got based on 7 traits. And these 7 traits were: number 1, arm strength; number 2, ball placement; number 3, mechanics; number 4, decision making with the football; Number 5, pocket presence. Number 6, rushing ability. And number 7, second reaction ability. So, Mr. Scott, we're going to start with arm strength here. And I'm going to give you the 10 that they selected. I'm going to give them to you in the order that was selected, 1 through 10. And you can tell me whether you agree with this list. Not necessarily if you agree with the order, but if you agree with the list. So start with arm strength. Number 1, Patrick Mahomes. Number 2, Josh Allen. Number 3, Justin Herbert. Number 4, Matt Stafford. Number 5, Ayahuasca. Number 6, William Levis. Number 7, Baker Mayfield. Number 8, Anthony Richardson. Number 9, Dak Prescott. And 10, Lamar Jackson. Mr. Scott, what do you think?
Well, the question is how do they come up with that? I mean, is this the averages that they've thrown during the year? Is this, I mean, are they tested during camp to see how far they can throw the ball? Is that what arm strength is? If you can, you know, one of the things I used to love about Tom Brady is on a 3rd and 15, he could throw an out pattern where there's nobody could stop it because there's your sideline and he beats the guy one step and the ball is right there.
Well, see, that would be ball. I think that would come on to ball placement, which is our second category.
Yeah, but I mean, but to throw a ball across the field, I mean, even though it's a 15 or 20, I mean, that's a long throw to get it to a person in the spot. So how they come up with that, I guess I agree with the first 4 in that. I mean, Mahomes, what can I say? He's otherworldly. I mean, I think he's the best. He's going to end up being one of the best ever. But as far as arm strength in itself, it's kind of hard to really measure that. I mean, Allen has been and Herbert have both been looked at as strong arm quarterbacks. And where is your main guy on this list?
This is an ESPN list. This has nothing to do with me personally or any team personally. This is the ESPN list.
And Ayahuasca, he's down at 5th. I don't see who do I not see? I don't see a guy named Jared Goff as having any kind of strong arm. It seems to just be totally not even in the mix for having a strong arm, which I agree with that. Okay. But I think the first 4 or 5, I think that's.
Yeah. So first of all, I'm going to draw into question the importance of this. How many of the throws a quarterback makes in a game, the 40 throws, the 35 throws in a game, see, I was agreeing with him at first, and then he took a gratuitous shot at Jared Goff. So fuck it, I ain't agreeing with him no more. I care, right? I care more about the dude that can make the 15-yard out throw accurately. Jared Goff.
See, you guys are getting ahead. You guys are getting ahead of yourself now because we're talking about.
I don't think that's in ball. I don't think that's in ball placement. I've tried to throw a 15-yard out. It's actually about a 35-yard throw. To throw it accurately, that to me is what's important. Being able to throw 60 yards, who gives a damn? How many times you're going to do that in the game? How many times is it going to matter? No, I need you to be able to nail the 15-yard out every time, right? That's what's important. So I don't value the concept of arm strength because as much as I hate what he said, he's not wrong. My quarterback doesn't have a cannon. I know that. But they don't have stuff like pre and post snap reads, accuracy. How often does Jared Goff hit a guy in stride so he doesn't have to fall back or jump or whatever to catch the football? That's the kind of stuff that matters to me. That might be ball placement. And he's on the ball placement list, right? That's what I think.
Yeah, but he's at the bottom. He's at the bottom of it.
No, he's in the top 10.
But there's only 10 out of 32.
Exactly.
But anyway,
not at the bottom. He's in the top 10. But as far as arm strength, I don't argue the list. I might put Stafford at the top, quite frankly, but I don't argue the list. I just also would tell you there's 2 Super Bowl champs on that list. Only 2 people. No, 3 guys who won Super Bowls. So how important is it if only 3 of the top 10 guys have ever won a Super Bowl? I think as the number one thing that they're writing, and I don't know if they mean that's most important or that's just the first on the list. I don't really give a damn.
First on the list.
Okay. I don't need Jared Goff to be in that. I want a guy who understands pre and post snap reads more than the fact that he can throw the ball 70 yards. Because if he knows how to manipulate a safety and whether or not they're going to blitz or not, that's the stuff that makes a play successful, not whether he can throw it 60 yards. And Goff can throw the ball 60 yards. Jameson Williams had 4 60-yard catches last year. I don't give a damn. I just don't care about that one. So I kind of agree with him, even though I hated that he brought up the true fact that Jared Goff doesn't have a strong arm. It's accurate, but I don't have a problem with the list largely because I don't really care about arm strength. I just don't.
Okay.
It's cute. It's cute. It's nice for the video game, but I don't know if it translates to winning football games.
Okay, well, let's go to category number 2. And this is ball placement. Demetrius, we'll start with you. Number 1, Joe Burrow. Number 2, Tua. Number 3, Patrick Mahomes. Number 4, Stafford. Number 5, C.J. Stroud. Number 6, Brock Purdy. Number 7, Geno Smith. Number 8, Dak Prescott. Number 9, Jared Goff. And at number 10, Josh Allen.
I actually don't have a problem with this list. Actually, I would not to suck up because I can't tell you how much I hate having to suck up to Mr. Scott. Kirk Cousins deserves to be on this list. Kirk Cousins is a very accurate quarterback, short and medium throws. I don't know that Brock Purdy has earned the right to be on this list. I don't think Tua should be as high as he is. Jared Goff is right there. I believe he's very accurate. His ball placement is great. He deserves to be in the top 10, maybe 6 or 7. My biggest problem with this list is Kirk Cousins is not on it, and I think he should be. And I think some of this is they're giving some people credit who maybe don't deserve it. I think Joe Burrow's good, but if you got great ball placement but you only play 12 games a year, who gives a damn? I don't know. I believe Kirk Cousins should be on this list. That's my biggest gripe. I'm cool with Jared being 9. He could have been 6, 7, 8, anywhere in there is fine. He deserves to be in the top 10. I believe, and I think Mr. Scott still likes Kirk Cousins. I don't even know if that's true or not. I believe Kirk Cousins should be on that list. That's my big.
Yeah, he's very
Is this the real Demetrius? I'm taking screenshots.
I told you. I didn't wake up this morning saying I want to go agree with Mr. Scott for 2 fucking hours. I definitely did not wake up saying that. It's just happening. I don't know why. I can't stop it. It sucks.
Go ahead, Mr. Scott.
Well, to address that, when you're speaking truth, see, this brings in the converts. When you're speaking truth, that brings in the converts. And so as far as the ball placement, boy, I disagree with Demetrius that Purdy should be down on the list. I mean, I think that could be a strong point of his. I mean, he came in as a rookie. He had a lot of weapons around him, and he seemed to get the ball to people. So, I mean, I
have 10 years of Kirk Cousins doing it, and I've got 12 games of Brock Purdy doing it. That's my problem. I'm not saying I'm just saying Kirk Cousins has done it for a decade.
Yeah, that's true. And Mahomes, I mean, what can you say about him? He gets it done. I mean,
Mahomes couldn't be number 1 on every one of these. Yeah, right. And I wouldn't push back, except maybe mechanics. I wouldn't push back. Gold
standard, placement. The ones at the bottom of Prescott even. I mean, I think he's, he just takes a lot of shots, and he's but this is his make or break year. So if he stays healthy, I think big things from Dak this year, and the Cowboys. I really do.
Okay.
I think Detroit's overrated. I mean, that's one of the things. I think that
all right, that's okay. That's the end of that shit, James. That's just it.
I think the Cowboys.
There's nowhere to go for them.
I think the Cowboys are overrated.
Grossly overrated. Totally overrated.
But we'll see. Okay, so let's go to mechanics here, and Mr. Scott, I'm going to start with you. Mechanics. Joe Burrow's number 1. Matt Stafford, number 2. Justin Herbert, number 3. C.J. Stroud at 4. Dak at 5. Jared Goff at 6. Tua at 7. Ayahuasca at 8. Brock Purdy at 9, and Trevor Lawrence makes his appearance at number 10.
Boy, this is such a weird list. I mean, really, mechanics, Stafford being that high. I mean, I just think he has just such a weird motion. He has just such a strange throwing motion. His mechanics, I'll say this, they're unique mechanics. They're different than anybody else's mechanics that I saw, even though he's effective. He's a very good quarterback and has been for years. He just had played on some teams that wasn't supporting him. He was an excellent quarterback. The teams just weren't no good. Other than that, mechanics, gosh, ayahuasca. I mean,
same.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
When you have success, I mean, I think mechanics has to go along with it. How you run your team. I mean,
I guess my question is,
Kirk Cousins.
Traditional mechanic. Kirk Cousins should be. Stafford shouldn't be on this list. He throws sidearm. He throws against his body. Ayahuasca throws off the wrong foot. What do they mean by mechanics? Because if they mean true drop, plant, throw a football the way you're taught in like middle school, Stafford and ayahuasca cannot be. They cannot. Kirk Cousins has to be on this list. Jared Goff deserves to be right about where he is. I think Dak could maybe be higher. Dak really does a good job of like foot placement. When you roll or shuffle, you got to square your body to the target. Stafford and ayahuasca don't do any of that. So I don't know what they mean by mechanics. I have no problem with Joe Burrow. Delivers a really good ball, strong arm. I don't understand what they mean by mechanics, probably, because I wouldn't put either of those guys on this list. And Kirk Cousins, again, really, really good mechanics. And I'm not sucking up to the Michigan State guy. I've always been a fan of Kirk Cousins, the banker, as we call him. I've always been a fan of the banker. But these lists, if they really mean it, I think my biggest problem with this whole thing is they have done a disservice to Kirk Cousins. I believe that. I'm fine with where Goff is on every list that he's on. They have totally snubbed Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, he gets some respect, but a lot of the preseason pundits are saying Atlanta could take that division. I don't.
I agree.
I agree.
I think
Reggie will be here next week, and I'm sure that he's not really thrilled about Penix's debut. So let's go to decision making with the football. Number 1, ayahuasca. Number 2, Matt Stafford. Number 3, Joe Burrows. Number 4, C.J. Stroud. Number 5, Brock Purdy. Number 6, Jordan Love. Number 7, Patrick Mahomes. 8, Dak Prescott. 9, Jared Goff. And we see an appearance by Kirk Cousins. So go ahead, Demetrius.
Same thing. I think Goff and Cousins should be 5 and 6. I think Purdy is getting a ton of love that I don't think he's really earned yet. I have nothing against him. I think he has shown us 3/4 of a season in a really good offense with weapons you wouldn't believe. This guy has played with McCaffrey, Debo, Ayuk, and George Kittle, right? I don't have a big enough sample size to put him ahead of Goff and Cousins, who I think between the two of them have 17 years of documented evidence. And so this is, I think, the strongest part of Goff's game. And I think Kirk Cousins as well. I have no problem with Dak. I'm proud of them that Mahomes is not in the top 3 because Mahomes tries to do stuff sometimes that you shouldn't do. And when your arm's that good, you tend to do that, right? You tend to try stuff other guys should try. Mahomes will try those Jared Goff would never try because Jared Goff knows he doesn't have the same thing on his right shoulder that Patrick Mahomes has. So he deserves to be there. 7 is probably right. My biggest problem is I would simply swap Goff and Cousins to 5 and 6, and I'd move Purdy and Love to 9 and 10. That's it. Still, the Kirk Cousins, not enough respect. He deserves it, and I think this is the strongest part of Jared Goff's game. And 9 is disrespectful.
I'm still looking for Demetrius. Where the hell?
I know. Look, I'm giving Goff love. I'm being reasonable tonight. But Kirk Cousins went to Michigan State. I've always loved Kirk Cousins. That's not even a Minnesota. But, I mean, give credit to Mr. Scott. He did not bring a bunch of smoke tonight. He's been logical. He's been reasonable. He has not thrown any nonsense out there. He's dropped facts and data and really good shit. I can get on board.
What a ringing endorsement! What a ringing endorsement!
I'm really looking for Demetrius now. Look at that, my hat fell off. I mean, what is going
it's okay.
on
We got
here?
time. Hey, bro, we got time. We got plenty of time left. It's all good.
Mr. Scott, decision making with the
decision making.
Yes.
Well,
He agrees with me.
Well, why isn't Lamar Jackson on there? I mean, he knows when to pull the ball down. I mean, what did he run for? Almost 1,000 yards. If the play breaks down, I mean, what a weapon.
Well, we got another category for rushing, so he might be in that one.
No, it might be interceptions.
Well,
it might be that's probably what I'm thinking is interceptions. Is why they are on there.
Probably they
interceptions are usually really bad decisions, not bad throws. They're usually bad decisions.
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Scott, pocket presence. Number 1, Patrick Mahomes. Number 2, Joe Burrows. Number 3, C.J. Stroud. Number 4, Matthew Stafford. Number 5, Lamar Jackson. Number 6, Brock Purdy. Number 7, Jordan Love. Number 8, Josh Allen. Number 9, Geno Smith. And number 10, Dak Prescott.
Boy,
Pocket presence.
I think the pocket presence, if I'm not mistaken, these are the people that hang in there and throw from the pocket. No running. The play is just whatever they call, they throw. I mean, so Mahomes, he's more of a magician. I mean, yeah, he has pocket presence, but then the pocket breaks down and he makes it happen. I mean, so he doesn't necessarily be locked into the pocket. I mean, that's how I'm looking at this. Who's locked in to the pocket? And again, Cousins is the guy locked into the pocket. I mean, he didn't run at all. I mean, so, and no, I don't miss Kirk Cousins. I know it was time for him to go. I mean, you win one playoff game. I mean, after all that time and all the money you've paid him, one playoff game, I mean, I can't really support that. So, yeah, he needed to go. Well, yeah, Mahomes, you got to put him almost at the top of everything. Pocket presence. I don't know a lot about Geno Smith in that area. I don't know.
Again, I wonder what this question is. What do they mean? Is it simply guy? Like, because I thought stay in the pocket. Maybe it's when you slide a little left, slide a little right. When do you take off? Those kinds of decisions. But the term pocket presence to me, I would have wondered guys who were the most effective, highest completion percentage in the pocket, not dudes who scrambled out like Mahomes, like Lamar, like I wouldn't have thought those guys like Jordan Love. I still hate that Brock Purdy is getting all this love. He's 5 or 6 in almost every category. I just don't think he deserves it. So I don't really know what they mean by pocket presence. I will never argue Mahomes and Burrow being at the top of any of these. I got to be honest. I don't know what that means. I don't know. Again, I could make a case for Jared Goff because from the pocket, he had the second highest completion percentage of any quarterback in the league. So I don't know what they mean by that. Like I said, can't argue Mahomes anywhere, but with guys like Geno Smith and Brock Purdy on this list, I'm confused by what they mean because they got scramblers, they got more pure pocket. Burrow's more of a pocket guy. CJ's a pocket guy. But then they got the scramblers like Geno and Josh Allen and Mahomes. So I don't know what that means. Yeah. So I'm not going to push back. I'm not going to put Kirk Cousins on this list because I don't know what it means. or Jerry. I don't really know what it means. I would put Goff on every list though. So.
Well, this one you certainly won't be putting.
I will not. Not this one. Sorry.
And this is rushing ability. Number 1 is. Mr. Scott, I'm coming to you with this. Number 1 is Lamar Jackson. Number 2 is Josh Allen. Number 3 is Anthony Richardson. Number 4 is Jalen Hurts. Number 5, Justin Fields. Number 6, Patrick Mahomes. Number 7, Dak Prescott. Number 8, Joe Burrows. Number 9, Kyler Murray. And number 10, Trevor Lawrence. Now, I don't know how Justin Fields got on this list, but I really haven't seen a big enough sample. But evidently, we should be starting Fields instead of Russell, even though Fields dropped 3 passes from center, not where he was standing back. He was under the center and he couldn't get the ball. But anyway, Mr. Scott, what's your thought here?
Well, Lamar, hands down, on that. I mean, he's one of the best ever quarterback that's done it. And you know what? Who they're leaving out and who gets absolutely no respect is Mr. Massage. Mr. Massage, a lot of running ability, a lot of skills. And I look for Mr. Massage to make a big turnaround this year. I mean, as long as he's healthy, the team is putting together a really good team, good defense. I think they're making some plays to get one of the top receivers to give Mr. Massage another weapon, so he could be in the running. But Lamar, Josh Allen, Richardson, yeah, I could see that, and Dak is pretty well underrated, I think, as a rusher. I mean, it breaks down. He can make things happen. And Kyler Murray, the world's tallest midget. I mean, he's good. We're rushing the ball.
So wait a minute, hold it now. So now I've already adopted Mr. Massage. Now I got to go with the world's tallest midget.
If you don't think I'm not using that many times, you're out of your mind. You're out of your mind. Hell yeah, I'm using that. And it's because it's accurate and it's funny. Hell yeah, I'm using it.
So now I know that there's a double for Mr. Scott. Talking about Mr. Massage, I'm still wondering about Demetrius. But anyway, go ahead, Demetrius.
About Mr. Massage? I think that's hilarious. Yeah,
no, about I had the real Mr. Scott and the real Demetrius on my show.
Oh, no. Yeah, you got you're about to get me right here. So this is one of my peeves right here is I don't have a problem with the list 1 through 10. I think I have a problem with the importance people put on this skill set. I think if you look at the list, it tells you this ain't that damn important because there's one dude on that list that won a Super Bowl. There's one dude on the whole list that's won a Super Bowl. So what I'm saying is I don't care that my quarterback can't run. I don't need my quarterback to rush for 500 yards because it's not what wins you Super Bowls.
Well, see, that's a bias type statement for that question because his quarterback is no good, can't run. So he's just going to say he doesn't care. So that's,
no. I didn't say I didn't care. What I said is I don't think there's a direct input between being able to run the football and winning Super Bowls. Because I want you to name all the quarterbacks, not name Steve Young or Patrick Mahomes, that we would call running quarterbacks that have Super Bowl wins. And I would wait. But we don't have that much time. They don't do it. It's not, I would rather have my big statue quarterback who can't run at all, but has a 72% completion percentage and leads my team to a half away from the Super Bowl. So keep the world's tallest midget. You can have Jalen Hurts. You can have Justin Fields can't take a center quarterback exchange. And they've got his ass number 5 on this list like it matters. Guess what he can't do? If he doesn't take the snap, he can't run. So it doesn't matter. I don't care. So yeah, Anthony, I'm sorry. This is an overrated ability.
I'm a Steelers fan, and I see no reason for Justin Fields to even be on this list. But
right, because the ability doesn't matter. It's an overrated ability that guys that play Madden like. Right, it's not going to get you. It doesn't necessarily get you to the Super Bowl. And I don't even count Mahomes at 6 because he's got a next level arm. Right, he's not okay. He's 6, whatever, but he's probably the greatest passer of all time. The rest of that list are guys who kind of got close, plus the world's tallest midget. Yep. That skill set doesn't impress me. I don't even care about that list. I don't care who's on it. I don't care that my guy's not on it because it doesn't matter. That's a stupid thing to even rank. It doesn't help you win football games.
All right, here's the last category. Second reaction ability. Number one, Demetrius, I'm coming to you. Second reaction ability, number one, Patrick Mahomes. Number two, Josh Allen. Number three is Lamar Jackson. Number four, Brock Purdy. Number five, Jordan Love. Number six, Caleb Williams. Number seven, Dak Prescott. Number eight, Jalen Hurts. Number nine, Gardner Minshew. And number 10, Justin Herbert.
Oh my God. Okay, so what the hell is this number one? I don't even know what it means. What I do know is Caleb Williams hasn't played a down in the National Football League yet, and he's rated 6. And Gardner fucking Minshew's on the list. I'm done. I'm done. That's it. I don't even know what it is. I don't care. Because Caleb Williams hasn't played a down.
I'm with you on that, because what does that mean? The quarterback that can throw the ball away, okay, it's broke down, so I threw it out of bounds.
That might be.
I mean, that's second reaction.
Somehow Brock Purdy is 4 again. Caleb Williams hasn't played a down, but he's the 6th best in all of football. He's better than 24 other quarterbacks in the league, and he hasn't played a down. And Gardner Minshew is anything Gardner Minshew is in the top 10 of, I don't give a damn about. Sorry.
Cousins never throws interceptions. I mean, he throws single digit interceptions. So is that second?
I don't know what it is. How is it different from rushing ability or pocket presence? What does it mean? Second reaction. What does that mean? It might be if somebody gets close to sacking you, you break the tackle. I don't even know what it means. I got to be honest. I know that if Gardner Minshew is one of the 10 best, it doesn't fucking matter. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter. And if Caleb Williams is already the 6th best at it without having set foot on the field against a real live NFL defense, I disregard all 7 of these polls now. That just brings all of them pointless. Whoever the dude was who sat in his cubicle and came up with all of these can go to hell. Gardner Minshew?
I think this is an Ed Oslowski.
I don't know. I don't care who it is anymore. That ruined everything. I tried to respect the other lists. When you told me that Gardner Minshew is in the top 10 in anything, everything else you said doesn't matter. Everything else we talked about for the last 30 minutes doesn't matter to me now. Done.
Mr. Scott, what's your thoughts here?
Yeah, that second reaction thing, I have no. Again, what does it mean? Okay, my second reaction, I throw the ball out of bounds, so nobody can intercept it. Is that
what that is?
Or you throw a touchdown in for the Chiefs in the Super Bowl.
I don't know what that means. That's my biggest problem is I don't.
Yeah, I suppose if you look at it that way, Mahomes, yeah, he makes it happen. You know, he looks for the first person, nobody's there. He runs around, he fakes throwing it to somebody else, and then he throws it. Second, third, fourth reaction for Mahomes.
And you're telling me Gardner Minshew is better than ayahuasca, Matthew Stafford, Jared Goff, Kirk Cousins. He's better than all those guys at whatever this invented term is. And somehow Brock Purdy's the 4th best in the whole league at doing this thing that nobody knows what it is. What are we talking about? This is great.
We're gonna have to start a Brock Purdy haters club here.
Yeah. I would like to be nominated for vice president. I'd like to be nominated for vice president.
Sounds like a personal problem to me.
Very personal. Very.
Okay, guys. Jerry says that there's no urgency to get CD Lamb signed, and I recall him saying similar things about Dak. So right now you still have the big 3, CD, Dak, and Micah Parsons, all sitting out. You have Dak in line, judging from present contracts, and I've asked this question before. Would Dak be the first $60 million contract? And that's not because necessarily of what his ability is, but that's what the market demands. So right now, thinking about the Cowboys, and as I said, their schedule includes the AFC North this year. So is Jerry kind of sending a message, Mr. Scott, that it's Super Bowl or bust, and if you guys don't make it to the Super Bowl, you won't be here next year?
Well, yeah, that's what I've been saying about Dallas and Dak too. I mean, this is a year that they've got to, do it. So I think eventually they're going to pay CD. I mean, I just think that can you trade him? I mean, I think they're going to pay him. I think he's a big part of what they want to do. They want to win it. They want to win it all. This is the year they got to do it. I mean, Dak's been all the promises. Jerry paid Dak. After he got hurt, Jerry still gave him the bag. So I think they're going to pay CD and they're going to make this run. I mean, that's how I look at their situation.
Do you agree, Demetrius?
I think this is about as horrible a management as I've seen. They could have paid CD 3 months ago before St. Brown and
Jefferson.
like 5 other dudes signed their deals and set the market. A forward-thinking organization would have gotten this done early in the offseason, like the Lions did, right? Gotten this done and gotten him cheap. Now you're going to have to pay him because, like Mr. Scott says, he's got all the leverage, by the way. You're not going to go into the season without him. Then you're a real idiot. And yeah, you're going to have to give Dak 60 unless you're going to restart the whole thing. And if you do that, then you got to let Micah go. So what you're about to do is you're about to set the market at 3 positions, not just any 3 positions. You're about to set the market at quarterback, receiver, and premier pass rusher. High salary cap. Nice to meet you. See you in 6 years, right? All because you could have gotten these done before. That's why I on my own podcast, I talk to people about the importance of the Lions getting Goff, Sewell, and St. Brown done like a year before they had to. They didn't have to extend any of those guys this summer. They got them all done. Why? Because next year, it's millions of dollars more, especially the quarterback. Jerry likes the limelight. He likes press conferences. He likes to talk. But he's running this franchise into the ground. I don't think they're that good now. They're top 5 in the NFC, maybe. I don't think they're better than us. I don't think they're better than the Eagles, the 49ers. I don't think they're the best team in their own division. So I think Atlanta might be better than Dallas. Right? I don't know. No, but the difference is Atlanta will win their division. Dallas will be a wild card division. So that playoff game will be in Atlanta because the Eagles are going to win that division. I don't think they could beat Green Bay no matter where that game is played. Green Bay beat them last year, and the Packers got better. They can't touch us. They needed the refs to steal the game from us. I think Dallas is a team that didn't get better, and they got these culture, contract stuff hanging over their heads. And good teams don't usually do that. I don't think it's a good idea. I don't like it for them.
Hey. Cowboys, like you said, it puzzling, but we'll see. Because there's no way, the salary cap has already told them that they can't sign all 3. So we'll see what happens here. Demetrius, Jimmy Porn says that he's more comfortable and glad to be back in L.A. Do you think he'll make the Chargers' final roster, though?
Sure. I mean, we know who Porn is, right? What we know about him is this. He's not a starter. He's not going to play 17 games. He's not going to play 14 games. He might not play 12 games. So if you are a team, he's a good quarterback. You should not expect no more than 12 games. So if you got a good quarterback, which they do, and you need him, say Herbert tweaks a knee and needs 2 weeks off, Porter will come in and give you 2 good games. Yeah, absolutely. If he needs a stretch of 3 or 4 maybe, or just a second half of a game because Herbert gets concussed, Porter can do that. What he is not is a starter in this league. Anything beyond asking this guy to play 7 or 8 good games is the definition of unreasonable expectations. So this probably does work. He's in LA. He can find women or do whatever it is dudes like that do. I don't even know. short answer to your question is, yeah, he's a solid backup NFL quarterback. He should make the roster. Should be their backup. Absolutely.
What do you think, Mr. Scott? Jimmy Porn is going to be the Chargers backup?
Yeah, I think he's a good backup. Over the years, I don't know really what's happened to him. I mean, it seems like he's been in some good spots to be successful, but I don't know, injuries, whatever happens, there's always something happens with him. But coming in as a backup, yeah, I think he's a good backup. I mean, if we could use him. Actually, now things have changed. The whole apple cart has changed now. And so I know Demetrius is so happy about that. He's just ecstatic, so giddy. So
you guys weren't even on my radar. I'm not even thinking about you. You guys weren't on our radar. You're not in our league. We beat you twice last year. We beat you 5 of the last 6 times we played you, we've won. You guys aren't even on our radar. You guys are rebuilding. We're there. We're championship level. You're rebuilding. I don't have
we'll sneak up on you. Yeah, we'll sneak up on you. You think you're so good.
I'll be waiting.
Well, Mr. Scott, let's talk about your Vikings, because in the midst of all your trouble, you did find a hidden gem, judging from the performance of your running back, Keanu Kawangu. And but you also, I hear JJ is having surgery, so that means he might be out for at least 6 to 8 weeks, if not more, plus rehab. You just lost Addison. So your co-owner says that you're not going to be talking extensions for the coach or the GM anytime soon. Mr. Scott, what's going on with your Vikings?
Yeah, that's, and these latest injuries have really shaken up things. I mean, they were planning to play Darnold anyway. I mean, as Bull was saying, that was really the plan. But JJ came in that first exhibition game and looked very good. Looked ready to play. They were going to probably rest him this next game, give him a little bit more chance, and who knows? But now they're back to square one. So they're stuck with Darnold, and they're looking at bringing in someone else. I mean, they've got the young guy that got hurt against Atlanta, the Jaron. And then they got Nick Mullins, who he had 2 games last year where he threw for over 400 yards, but he kept turning the ball over. And I don't know why in the world the coach didn't say, look, man, don't turn the ball over. I mean, he's throwing the ball for 400 yards in a couple of those games he played, but he just turned the ball over. So he's got some talent, and they're talking about people like Joe Flacco.
Nice. Well, I don't mind Joe.
He can win some games for you. He could probably get you to the playoffs. Possibly. So, yeah, I don't know. And Kawango looks really good. A lot of speed. It could be a real hidden gem. And along with Aaron Jones. So everything is looking good. This quarterback thing is just really – and then now with Addison, so, yeah, it's gotten tough. I mean
do we know how bad Addison is yet? Have they released anything on Addison yet? He got carted off today, right? Or was that yesterday?
It's today.
Yeah, it was just today. This just happened.
Right after
JJ's out for the year.
Yeah.
He's out. They already said he's out for the whole year.
The meniscus, right?
Yeah, he won't be back. So yeah, a couple of things are going to happen this week. And again, these things just bring a smile to certain people's face. And I understand that. But see, we've got to get started. It's a long season. Once we get going, I expect some surprises in this division, because in Chicago, Caleb looked good. He might be good. The Bears might be good. So,
and don't forget the Packers. The Packers might be looking good too, also.
Yeah. Some guys think it's a cakewalk. They think that this is just going to be a march right away, and just everyone's going to give it to them, lay down, and going to go right back to the championship game. I don't see that happening. I really don't.
See, and Mr. Scott, you always say that I pigeonhole you, but I know that you are a Vikings fan, That's like saying that I'm not a Steelers fan. So anyway. Uh, so Demetrius, let's talk about your team here because one of your biggest faults last year was your secondary. You've addressed that in the draft and through free agency, and you've got a revamped secondary. Uh, will this be the year that we see Jamison Williams finally get that season that you guys were looking for? I believe, didn't you draft him first? Wasn't he a first round draft pick for you guys?
Number 13. Yep. Number 13.
Okay. So talk to me, Demetrius. How's that secondary looking? Improving? What's going on there? And what do you think? Breakout year for Williams, or hey, I mean, I know St. Brown got all the money, but Williams is a good, he got a good pair of hands.
St. Brown deserved every penny because he earned it. If the answer to your question is yes, I think we saw what J-Mo could be in glimpses. The reality is there's these subtle little things in organizations that people who don't want to admit it just ignore, right? And I look at the NFC and I see with J-Mo, he only had 42 targets and 24 catches. I expect his targets to double. He will probably get 70 plus targets. And if he catches 35 balls, his route tree is go routes. Right? If he catches 35 passes, 10 of those are going to be him dancing in the end zone. That's what I expect of him. More targets, more production, because he's got the God thing, God gift, speed. You can't teach anybody to beat just anybody. He's got Tyreek Hill type speed. He's got Devontae Smith type speed. The kid's got burners. He came into his first year off an injury, didn't play until week 8. Last year, he got suspended on some dumb NFL rule for 4 games because he made a bet in the practice facility. Dumb rule, which they fixed. He missed time. He had a full camp, and every report is saying it clicked. It clicked with J-Mo. It's clicked. I expect a big season. As far as the secondary, no question. Brad Holmes is the best GM in football because he said, I know what our biggest weakness is. And he went out and he fixed it. He brought Carlton Davis over in a trade, legit number 1 corner. He got Amik Robertson to help. He drafted 2 of the best 4 corners in the whole draft in Terrion Arnold and Ennis Rakestraw. He brings back Brian Branch, who's going to be better than he was last year, and he was all rookie last year. The secondary got tremendously better. So if you tell me a team that was a half away from going to the Super Bowl, brought back both coordinators. So this is the 3rd straight year with everybody in the system. They signed their 3 best players to extensions. So the quarterback's happy, your receiver's happy, your all-pro tackle is happy. You fix the biggest problem on your defense. I didn't mention DJ Reader and Marcus Davenport up front yet. And other people, you don't think San Francisco's going to hurt when they trade Brandon Ayuk? That's going to hurt them. You don't think the Eagles are a mess? Coach and the quarterback hate each other. Everybody talks about Saquon. Nobody talks about the fact they lost Jason Kelce. They lost both their coordinators. But nobody wants to look at us and go, wait, on paper, because they haven't played a game, they got better. On paper, they fixed their biggest weakness. On paper, they solidified their 3 best players with contract extensions. On paper, we got better. And we were half away from the Super Bowl. And on paper, our biggest competitors didn't get better, in my opinion. Saquon will help them. They lost an all-pro in Jason Kelce, plus they lost another offensive lineman. They lost both their coordinators. You don't think it takes time to get acclimated? We're in the 3rd year with both our coordinators. Jared Goff knows that system. St. Brown, they know that system. Sam Laporta is going to get better. Jack Campbell's going to get better. Jahmyr Gibbs is going to get better. But they're the Lions. Nobody was, okay. I'm cool with all of it. The culture in that building is as good as it's ever been in my lifetime. Guys want to play for that team. Guys want to stay here. Guys who come here want to stay here. Guys who don't play here want to come and play here. And we've got the same 3 guys at the top for the 3rd straight year. The system is solid. We got Pro Bowlers all over the lineup. St. Brown, Sewell, Laporta. We got Lee McNeil. Get to know him. Get to know that name. He's about to be one of the best defensive tackles in football. And we fixed our secondary. It used to be jokes and fun. Now I just gave you real shit about why I think we're the best team in the NFC. And I don't even think it's none of that is smoke and mirrors. I think we are the best team in the NFC. Now we got to go out and win. Are we going to lose 3-4 games? Sure. Won't matter. Because the only thing is if that game against San Francisco is in Detroit back in January, I'm showing you a replica trophy behind me right now. That's the thing. We can't let the refs steal the Dallas game. We can't give away a game like Thanksgiving to Green Bay or that debacle here in Chicago. We got to win those games. Because if we go into the playoffs 14-3, that championship game's in Detroit. You're not beating us there. You're not beating this team there. Now, barring injuries, J-Mo's gonna break out. The secondary's fixed. We got a great culture. Our good players are paid. We got better. Davenport's a good player. DJ Reader's a good player. And a bunch of young guys are getting better. I'm sorry. I could go on. But he's going to give me some bullshit now about why I should be scared of the Vikings.
No, I'm just all I wanted to say is, James, is this recorded?
Yes, it is.
Is this a recording? I would like to see a recording of this. Where did he go? He's gone now.
Yes, all of our shows are recorded.
Yeah, and so this is a recording. I'm going to mark this one down. This is a recording. I want to have a playback on.
Please.
Okay.
I will. I have no problem. I have no problem. I've done that before. Because 2 years ago, I told them what was going to happen.
Although it's not the same sport, need I remind you that we recorded how you felt about that trade for Gobert. So we know that this program is recorded.
Yeah, be careful what you wish for about it. Be careful. But I predicted Brad Holmes was going to be executive of the year 2 years before it happened. In my final thoughts, I said, Mrs. Holmes, clear a space on the mantle because Brad's bringing an executive of the year trophy home. And sure enough, I sent everybody in the text group an article about Brad Holmes winning executive of the year back in February. So I'm comfortable.
I also heard how you snuck that 14-3 in there. So yeah, I think we might have to do with that.
I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with that at all. I will stand on that. Put that on wax. 14-3. I've looked at the schedule. I see 2 games that really concern me, and I'm giving them one to have a bad day. I'm just gonna be honest. That's how I feel about it.
Well, Mr. Scott, it's always good when you come and join us, and especially when you stick around for most of the whole show. I'm still not sure what happened tonight with this love fest between you and Demetrius here.
Next week is on.
But as you said, this show is on wax, so I will record this as today.
You get a lot of comments, and a lot of the comments, you can just kind of just flow out the window. But several, every now and then he hits some very salient points, and I have to give him his credit. He's done his homework. He's just so much love affair with Detroit, and that's just going to be a really tough thing to swallow when it comes down to the end of the year and they're 500 and they're trying to struggle their way into the playoffs. We'll see how things are then.
Oh, I'm so glad. I gotta take a note about this show.
We got to remember this now. It's August 14th, and
I'm putting a note on my calendar. August 14th. Oh, we're going back. No, it's all in good fun. Like I said, it's I just like the good sports talk, and the trash talking is good too. It's always good, but now this is just the wrong time. He should be talking about the Pistons. This is what he should be talking about. This ain't the time to pick on the Lions. I'm just being honest. This is not the season to pick on the Lions. This is a bad season.
We'll see. Like I said, I like the Lions. I don't know if I like them 14-3 worth, but we'll see. I will be putting a little of Grandma's insulin money on the Lions this season, though. So
insulin free anyway.
So, Mr. Scott, give us your final thoughts for the evening, there, Mr. Scott.
Well, only, gosh, I see Demetrius has a podcast. I say, maybe I should photobomb that podcast. Maybe I
You
could
can
just
you can come on my podcast.
just
You are
photo
welcome.
and just
You are welcome. You got a photo bomb. You can be a guest on my podcast anytime you want. Lions Vikings week, we should do it together. You're welcome anytime.
I look forward to that. You can sign
All
me
right.
up for that. I look
Right.
forward to that.
No, we will do that.
Okay. Now, as you said, this is recorded, so
Yeah. He can
I'm circling it right now on my Google Calendar. The Lions. Now, is this both games or just the first game?
Both games.
Fine.
We do both.
Okay. All right.
He will get an invite. I will plug the Sports Crib at the beginning of the podcast and everything. I mentioned.
Hey, and hey,
I love going around setting the record straight. I love
don't think I'm not going to be there if I have to be a fly on the wall. So
I'll send you an invite. You can jump in if you want. I'm open. I'm open to it. It's great.
Okay, well that's you book it.
Yep.
Then just book it. And then my final thoughts are what's kind of going. That's not going to hit in politics right now, but now that our governor, who's a alma mater of my school, Minnesota State Mankato, is up for vice president. A lot of scuttlebutt going on with that. Another friend of mine, he's a Republican, Royce White. I don't know if people have heard of Royce, but Royce was a #1 draft choice of the Houston Rockets, and was afraid to fly, and and that guy was a specimen. My youngest son played basketball, and Royce must be at least 3 years younger than him, and my son was, he was unbelievable. And Royce dominated these people. He's 3 or 4 years younger than these kids. I've never seen anything like it. And so he's now the Republican candidate for Senate here in Minnesota. So that's something I'm watching because his grandfather is a good friend of mine. He wrote a book on baseball, Black Baseball, Why They Played the Game, Frank White. Wow. Excellent book. Kind of focuses on the Midwest leagues that Black people played in back in the 1900s to the 1930s. So,
Demetrius, you don't have that book?
I do not.
Oh my goodness!
I would like that.
I told you this. I told you you got. I know that they snuck a double in on me. See,
yeah. Because I should have that book.
Do you recall the name of it, Mr. Scott?
Yeah, I believe it's Why They Played the Game by Frank White. That's Royce White's grandfather.
I need to get that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, excellent book. He works for the Twins now. I go to a game with him every now and then. Yeah, he works for the Twins community, kind of a thing.
That's awesome. The Royce thing isn't awesome, but the book is awesome.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Very interesting. How this turns out. Very interesting.
You are Bill without a Black baseball history book.
I know. I'm not happy.
I know you snuck a double in. I knew.
My twin brother stuck on the podcast today.
Your final thoughts there, Demetrius.
I'm going to do what I've done before, but ESPN is in the process of doing a documentary on Serena Williams, right? And I've been catching it because I am a documented Serena fan. More than that, whatever more than that is. I won't take long. She's the greatest tennis player ever. Not the greatest female tennis player. Serena Williams is the greatest tennis player ever. Period. And I think we need to get to a place because this documentary is giving me even more understanding of some of the stuff I didn't know about her. Like a year ago, 2 years ago, I did it as a final thought on the Sports Crib. And I asked the question, can we take the female part out of that? And the McEnroes and the Federer was fantastic. And got all these. At some point, right, I think we got to take the female out of that statement. Serena Williams might just be the greatest tennis player. And that's not to say Serena in her prime could be Federer. That's not how that works. I'm talking about a dominance that has lasted. It is what I always say about Willie Mays. Willie Mays was great when he was a rookie. Willie Mays was great in his 22nd season in baseball. He was an all-star in his 23rd season. He was great the whole time. There are guys who have windows. Brett Favre was phenomenal for 7 years. He might have been the best quarterback in the league for 6 or 7 years, but his first 3 and his last 6, not so much. Serena Williams is the greatest tennis player of all time. And now that I understand more contextually, all of the stuff she went through, all of the medical, personal, family, racial, all the stuff she went through. Because I used to, again, Willie Mays, I would say, if he had the training facilities we have now, if they traveled on airplanes like they do now, if he didn't have to have a job in the off season like there is not a record. I won't do the Willie Mays. I'm doing Serena. I think Serena is the greatest tennis player of all time, and this documentary has just strengthened it. I am on a campaign to get people to take the word female out of that sentence. Because they don't say, oh, Roger Federer is the greatest male player. They just assume Serena Williams, amazing. And I'm whatever the word after, more than fan of the woman she is, what she fought through, what she dealt with, and dominated her game for 20 or so years now. It's amazing, and I don't think she can get enough attention. This is helping, but I think there's a little black girl somewhere watching that thing going, I can be the greatest fill in the blank thing. And in a couple of months when we elect a black woman president, there's a little black girl somewhere. It's because I can that you know me, James. You know when I do sides in my life. That matters. That matters. Because when I was that dude, it was Muhammad Ali. When I was 7, 8, 10, it was my dad and it was Muhammad Ali. Ali was the one who's like, wait, that's the greatest. They call this dude the greatest. Everybody calls him because he was. And I didn't even see the best version of him. That was before I was born. I saw the second iteration that was still probably better than everyone else. But nobody could touch 1967 Cassius Clay. There is nobody ever who could have touched that dude. I love greatness. I love celebrating greatness, especially people that look like us. I don't mind saying it. And I just think they still haven't gotten to a place where Serena gets what she deserves. And I'm on a crusade.
The Cleveland Williams fight is the epitome of I mean, that's I mean, the man just thought about hitting him in his gloves in his face. He just thought
it was a work of art.
I mean, that was really that. I watched that match and I'm just like, my goodness,
work of art. If you like that sport, like the art of that sport, you don't just think it's guys beat. If you understand the technical aspects of that sport, watch him pretty much from second listing till they took his license, and they're all just works of art. They're different works of art, and it's beautiful to watch. Footwork, hand speed, movement of his body and his head. And everybody doesn't love boxing like I know James does, right? We've had this conversation multiple times, and I've said any weight class, any boxer, anywhere, give me Cassius Clay 1966 against anybody you come up with from any era at any time. Love Joe Louis, no, couldn't touch 66 Cassius Clay. Nope, sorry.
But Demetrius, there are some people that say that the George Foreman Africa fight was fixed.
Yeah,
but they're
right.
idiots. They're idiots. I'm sorry. They're idiots. Because I would probably.
Because I'm going to tell you, I thought George was going to kill him. I really did.
Yeah. That was the best strategy ever seen in any sport ever.
Yeah.
He won that fight. He won that fight with his mind. George walked right into the trap.
George had got cut. And see, George didn't even want to be in Africa. He was tired, and he got cut, and they had to postpone the fight for a month. They wouldn't let him come back. They made him stay in Africa.
George also wasn't built to go 8 rounds. 1974, George Foreman wasn't built to go 8 rounds. He swung every punch like he was trying to kill your mother. And at some point, Ali just said, "Okay, I'm gonna let this dude do this for a while.
Just do your thing, dude.
And when you're done, when you're done with all this nonsense, I'm gonna show you what it's up." That was he won that fight. And Muhammad Ali was probably the smartest fighter of all time. He won fights with his. He had an incredible jump. Took a punch like crazy. But 66 Cassius Clay, unbeatable in my opinion. Unbeatable. Yeah. And they stole 3.5 years in his prime. It would be no doubt. I don't have any doubt. You've seen my shirts. You've seen things on my wall. to me, that's it. Yeah. I have a whole thing about the GOAT. There's only one GOAT. There can be a greatest quarterback or a greatest golfer or whatever. There's one GOAT.
He's the best.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, hey, nice talking with everybody. Don't forget, we do have a special show this Friday with Mr. Scott and some of the other political leaders there in Minneapolis, Mr. Don Allen, Miss Sims, and hopefully some other people will be joining us. We'll be talking about Camilla's choice for her running mate, the governor of Minnesota. So you guys can get some more of Mr. Scott this Friday evening, and we'll be glad to send everybody an invite. But you can watch us on LinkedIn, Facebook, as well as YouTube. So
I still want to have that debate with Demetrius, and I'm not going to. Yes, I've been challenging to a debate. Just let me finish. Challenging you to a debate, and and your eyes may shine, your teeth may grit, but me you will not beat. You will not defeat.
Whatever you want to debate. I love debating more than anybody.
I think this particular one, Don Hayes is supposed to be the moderator.
He's supposed to be because he's the only unbiased. He's the less biased person. We certainly couldn't have JK3 do it because he'd have a lot of trick questions and trying to put me in a box. But I'm unboxable.
Unboxable. I'm ready. Anytime I'm ready. I love it. Let's do it. Set it up.
All right, guys.
All right, fellas.
A lot of fun tonight, guys. Have a good one. Sir. See you everybody next week.
All right, guys. Have a good one.
Yeah. All right, everyone. Great night here on the Sports Crib. Glad to have Demetrius, Bo, as well as Mr. Scott. Look forward to talking to everybody next week. And hey, so goes my tribute to Dion, Coach Prime. Have a good one, everyone. See you next week.